Hei, da er vi tilbake på Kulturhuset i Tromsø under filmfestivalen. Mitt navn er Karsten Meinich fra nettmagasinet Montages, og jeg sitter her i dag igjen med en filmskaper som har film på festivalen. And I will switch to English because our guest today is the Japanese filmmaker and director Naoko Ogigami. Welcome. Tusen takk. Very good.
Mitt navn er Naoko Ogigami.
I'm very impressed.
Thank you. That's all I know.
I told you that I feel my English is not perfect at any time, and you said the same. So we are just saying to all you guys that we are doing it in English, but if it gets a little cranky, it's okay.
Okay.
So, Naoko, you are here with 4 of your films in a special section. And the audience here in Tromsø will get the chance to sort of dive into your films. And you take us to many different places in a way. It's interesting always to discover not only a filmmaker, but places, people, a certain kind of mood. And last night I went to see your most recent film, and I thought maybe we could start to talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
Close Knit, it's called, and it's a very particular form of a mother-daughter story that involves many types of mothers.
Right.
Could you tell us a little bit about that specific film, where it came from, the inspiration for it?
Sure. Yes, I had started filmmaking in the States 20 years ago, and I had a lot of gay friends, lesbian friends, and the owner of my apartment was actually transgender woman. So LGBTQ people are naturally surround me. But once I went back to Japan, I couldn't find any LGBT friends, and I always feel weird about it. And then one day I found the article in a newspaper that it's about a transgender woman. And when she was 14, she told her mother that she wants to have a boobs, and her mother made her fake boobs for her. That's that article inspired me a lot. And then the other one is that the film is the knitting is the motif.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a motif. I'm using as a motif, and I found a photo of Norwegian gay couple. Their name is Arne and Carlos. They are knitting.
Yeah.
You know.
They're famous fashion designers.
Yeah, I found their photos in a bookstore, and they are sitting next to each other, knitting, and the photo was so cute, and that photo was inspired me a lot, and so I combined two things, and then I made a story about.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. I feel that the use of knitting, it's fascinating to me because I think a lot of people have it in their daily lives, either just wearing stuff that's made like this, and in Norway it's a trend now, a lot of knitting, and books about knitting, and it's knitting everywhere.
Okay.
And still I've never seen it used in a film like this, because as a motif I don't think you push it too hard on us, but slowly we realize it's very important for the story. And later in the film, I hope some of the people have seen the film here, but maybe some haven't seen it, so I will not spoil the film, but the way you sort of let them have knitting as a natural thing, but slowly during the film it becomes not an obsession, but it becomes like a psychological therapy almost.
Right, yeah.
Was that also part of the idea very early?
I didn't remember until somebody asked me, but I went back to Japan when I was 28, and at that time I didn't have a boyfriend, I didn't have a job, I didn't have money, I didn't have anything. And I was very, I felt like totally behind everybody. And I was kind of, I don't know how to say, I was totally depressed.
Yeah.
And during that time, I just stopped knitting.
Right.
and I just made two scarf, long scarf, and then I just finished it. But during that time, I think that's from that experience.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of good therapy.
Yeah.
For me to give me energy and don't think about anything. Don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
You know, while I'm eating. Yeah.
But it works the same way for your characters. I think it's a really beautiful way of setting them up and giving them sort of a common heritage in a way. Especially after the mother who's in the hospital or in the home for the elderly. She tells the story about burying all that stuff that she needed. So it becomes literal, but also as like a metaphor.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you a little bit about that period also in the US, where you go there to study filmmaking. And one of your previous films called Glasses, and we had to joke about our glasses earlier, it reminded me a lot about some of Eric Rohmer's film, the French filmmaker.
Okay.
Where she goes to this vacation, and it's more like a mood than very much like a plot story. But American filmmaking is very famous for plot storytelling.
Yeah.
What was your experience studying film in America, in combining sort of your...
Yeah, I understand. Yes, I learned everything about filmmaking in the States, and I had a great scriptwriter teacher, and they told me that how to write a film script. It has to be act 1, 2, 3. You know, the main character has to have a conflict somehow. But I followed that structure until my second film, and then after my second film, I realized that if I follow this structure, I will, I can't do it anymore. I have to find my own way.
Exactly, because it feels very much like these films screening here. They are all after this period. They have a very specific voice, and it's your voice. And it's very sad if the rules of filmmaking will not let you use your voice. And your film number 3, it's the one that takes place in Finland, of all places. Diner.
Right.
Could you tell us a little bit about how that came about?
It's my second film. I had a really, really bad experience. I had a totally mean assistant director and line producer. They are older than me. I'm a totally new girl filmmaker, and I didn't have any experience. And usually in Japan, to become a director, we have to have experience being an assistant director for 10 years, 20 years, But I didn't have any experience.
No.
Yeah, I just made a film.
Right.
And they are kind of jealous to me, so they are so mean to me. And I told my producer that I don't want to make a film in Japan anymore. And that's the start to make a film in foreign country.
Right. So you had been in America for the film school, came back to Japan, and you made 2 films. You had this bad experience, and then you go to Finland.
Yeah.
So, how the idea for the story and that film? How did that come about?
My producer I went to the Finland, and then she loved the country, and also my family had an exchange student from Finland, and I know something about Finland, and so let's go to Finland and make a film.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
And then when you returned to Japan, was that also liberating for you to find your filmmaking voice?
Yeah, totally.
The third film?
Yeah, totally. Yes, I didn't follow that structure, what I learned inside. And I think I found my way to make a film with my voice.
So there's something in common between all of your films, and it says in the festival catalog that there's a Japanese expression for this, and it was so hard for me to remember, so I had to write it down, and I will say it wrong, but it said Yashi Kei Eiga, or Yashi Kei Eiga.
Yes.
Something about a type of film that heals your emotions or emotional life. Could you tell us a little bit more about this?
I never meant to make that kind of film.
No?
I mean, yeah.
So people come and just tell you what kind of films you are.
Right.
Film critics like us, they are horrible. They tell you what you make.
Yeah.
No, but there is something going on, like a thread, you might say, that goes through those films that you are, the way you show emotion and make us feel for the characters feels, to me at least, not in the American way. You know, you don't push the emotions on us, but they linger through the film, even from the beginning. Last night, I don't know about you guys, but I watched Close Knit, and I felt like the lump in my throat, sort of being moved by the story. It was there after like 15 minutes. But you didn't manipulate me, it came from the... Is that part of what this category of films might be? Yeah?
I don't... yeah, people say that, but... Well, I never think...
No? You don't agree?
No, not really. But yeah, probably maybe just because I'm from Asian country, I have some kind of... I want to have that silent moment a lot. Maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
But for example, among your, is there some filmmakers that was particularly inspiring to you as when you wanted to make films, you wanted to study films? Like either Japanese or international filmmakers that you are inspired by?
Well, I don't want to say that inspired me, but I love Aki Kaurismäki.
Yeah.
And also Japanese filmmaker Ozu Yasuhiro.
Yeah, Yasuhiro Ozu.
Ozu, yeah. And also Imamura Shohei Kantoku.
That's interesting. I mean, because to us, I think contemporary Japanese films are always among the most interesting ones to watch in the film festivals. You have Hirokazu Koreeda and Naomi Kawase and your films. And it seems like your heritage, looking at Ozu or Imamura, you have this great filmmaking heritage. But is it sometimes difficult to, as a contemporary filmmaker, to be released from comparing in comparison with the old masters?
Well, I admire them, so it's okay to compare to, yeah.
Yeah. So if someone says it reminds me of Ozu, you're okay with that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, I'm happy. I'm totally happy. Yeah.
Because sometimes when in Close Knit, for example, you let the camera just slowly rest upon the characters, and your mise-en-scène is very sort of using these apartments very creatively. And at some point I realized she's not cutting at all. This is just like this long image. Is that the style that you've always wanted to sort of use or get to?
Well, that's the because we in Japanese film, most of Japanese film doesn't have a lot of budget, so we have to make a film for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, 2 days off, 20 hours a day, whatever. But because we are rushing, so it's easier to. Sometimes it's easier to handle one camera, running 10 minutes. But well, it depends on the scene.
But it is interesting that, as a storyteller, your surroundings is what you have. So if the surroundings are the economy also of the production, it's interesting to see style coming out of this.
But I also want to catch the air, with the one camera,
because you give that to us. I feel that this style gives us the opportunity to observe the characters as they are. But working with the actors must be harder, no? Because if you have a close-up, you can shoot 10 seconds and you have the best part from different parts. But especially this fantastic scene in Close Knit, near the end, when they are all in the apartment, it's very, very moving and also impressive because it's a fiction film. These are actors, and the young girl who plays the main character. So it's harder, but it's cheaper.
Well, but we had lots of takes. But so, for the emotional scene, I didn't want to cut their emotion also. No. But
did you, the way you work with actors, because I find your style also less I mean, it's very understated, the acting. I think it's a really believable and strong way of expressing it in fiction. But you have also very different types of characters. So, for example, casting the girl in the lead role. Did you look for a long time to find this actress?
That's the little girl?
Yeah, the little girl.
Yes, we had a big audition, and I think I saw more than 200 girls, and then finally she appears, and she was really good. And yeah, it was like the wild rabbit on the set, and I let her do whatever she wants to.
There's a playfulness in the film that, did you do some improvisation at some point?
No, I didn't.
So it's like the script is the exact thing, yeah. But you mentioned earlier that coming from the US, you had many friends that were from the LGBT community, and your story in Close Knit feels like a very interesting portrait of identity and your role in a family, your role in a society, and down to literally being about gender. You know, when the uncle's girlfriend, who used to be a boy but has become a woman, is looked upon skeptically because she wants to be the mother of the girl. These thematics, I don't necessarily feel like I've seen it so much in Japanese films before. Was this theme also important for you to introduce into Japanese films?
Oh yeah, totally. This is the very first film about a transgender woman. And well, yeah, it's pretty controversial film in there.
Has it been controversial?
Not really, unfortunately. But
you would have liked it to be more controversial.
Yeah, because it's pretty. Oh, I mean, it's okay. Lots of people came to see the theater in Tokyo and Osaka, but in the countryside, nobody wants to come. Nobody wants to see about this theme, and that was I really disappointed, and I thought Japan is still very, very conservative country, but we have that movie site on the web, big movie site, and then people can put on the stars,
ratings,
and then before the opening, more than 300 people put it only one stars.
Like a protest?
Yeah, exactly. It's really mean way. Yeah. But in Taiwan, there are controversial scene before the opening film. So yeah, Taiwan is more
more liberal?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
That, yeah.
I'm glad you tell us, because it's hard from Norway to see how a film is perceived in another country, and I think watching it personally, I just feel like the controversial aspects is not there so much for me. Rather, it's very interesting to see how easy it is to identify with this family, even though our families here might have different troubles with the society, but it's still the same. Mothers and daughters talking or not talking with each other, families being there for each other or not being there for each other, and sort of the generations also. I'm very moved by the mother who's in the elderly home. She's not so much in the film, but her presence is very much there. And then you have the mother of the transgender person, and she's very supportive of her daughter, which is also moving. So it's like a combination of feeling that you're observing a family that have all the potential to be so good to each other, but struggles with it still. So it's universal, I think.
That's true.
But talking about some of your other films too, I just saw Close Knit last night. I couldn't help but asking about it. For example, Rent a Cat. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's a very charming film. And the whole idea that you can have a cat brought into your life, is that like a true story or something?
Well, my mom told me that about her friend. She had just died, her cat, and her cat just passed away, and she wants to have another cat, but she's old. Since she's old, so she cannot have a cat because she cannot take care of the cat after she died. So yeah, that's the idea comes to me, and yeah, if somebody can just rent a cat to somebody, then that's gonna be good. Yeah.
But it's nice. You have the knitting in one of the ideas, and you have going to Finland, and there's the role of food, of course. I feel that's a Japanese tradition in a way, to always show us how fantastic food can look on films. We're all envious. I'm always waiting for a Norwegian film that makes me want to eat Norwegian food. Norwegian food is good, but we don't know how to make a film about it. Okay. But do you always feel it's simpler to make a film if you have one idea that is very concrete, like the knitting and the transgender story, and then the renting a cat, and for glasses, going on a vacation to a specific place? Is that normally how you get the first idea, and then you? Yeah, and then I just start. I decide opening scene and then ending scene, and then I just start writing, finding my way to go, and yeah, sometimes I spend 7-8 hours in the cafe for 2 weeks to get that idea has to come down to me. Yeah, something like that. So you're here in Tromsø also to present some of these films and go to the screenings and give introductions and answer questions. But you've been to Norway before once, right? To
yes.
Oslo.
Yeah.
How has it been to come here to the northern part?
Well, a couple of months ago, my producer told me that I'm going to Norway. Do you want to go to Norway? Yeah, and for the film festival, yes. And then I said yes. But that time I thought it's in Oslo. Right. And a month ago, she told me that it's not Oslo, it's in Tromsø. And I've never heard that's the name of the town, city. And then checked the map. It was so far away from Tokyo. It took me more than 20 hours to get here, yeah. But I spent only 3 nights. So you have to invite me again, please. Please. Yeah, I hope the festival makes that a reality, and we're looking so much forward to your next film. Yep. Thank you for coming here to Filmprat. And for the audience, you will get the chance to talk more with Naoko Ogigami at one of the screenings. And thank you for everyone who came here. And tomorrow there's another talk here with director Asif Kapadia. So see you again soon. Bye bye.